And Football at 4 is powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. It's brought to you today, of course, by our friends over at Ocean Casino Resort, the Gallery Bar Booking Games. We are back on Monday. I'll be back at the Gallery Bar Booking Games, and you can come up and check us out. The Gallery Bar Booking Games, the Fanatics Sportsbook. Go to the Gallery, go to Ocean, go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Woo, I am back. Adam Caplan is back on a happy hour Friday. And, of course, the Eagles take on the Browns tomorrow right here on 97.3 ESPN. A little look at the Eagles and where they stand as they get ready for preseason game number 2. Adam Caplan, what's going on, pal? How are you?
Good, Mike. So, by the way, when did you get back into town? From your little...
I got back last night. I got to my house at 1:03 a.m.
Oh, man. What's the time? What was the time difference where you were?
6 hours. So right now for me is about 10 p.m.
Oh, man. So if you adjusted it all, you're like kind of screwed up by the time.
I did not sleep a wink yesterday. I literally woke up in Prague, flew from Prague to Lisbon. We had a layover there for an hour and a half, flew from Lisbon back. So a 9-hour flying day. I did not sleep on the plane at all. Drove 2 hours home from Newark to my house, about an hour and a half, hour 45. I got to bed at like 1:30 in the morning, and I woke up today at 6:30. So I'm working on about 5 hours sleep in the last 48 hours. It's been
maybe that's when the Phillies got yesterday, but anyway, I'm sure.
I heard about all the travel problems the Phillies have had, but I wanted to make sure I was here today. I wanted to talk to you, Adam. I miss talking to you, pal.
Sure, man. Yeah, Josh did a great job filling in. We love doing it with Josh, but yeah, we have the rare 1 o'clock Eastern game on Saturday, which We're having a Patreon chat, our Tier 3 members. It's fun. We did one last week for 25 minutes, and it was crazy. It was so many people showed up. Like, you know what? We're going to do this again. So now we'll see how many people are around. Probably about 2:45 Eastern tomorrow.
Right, yeah. Obviously you're right. The weekend, 1 o'clock, Saturday afternoon, Eagle preseason game. But let's find out some of the things we're expecting here and what we have to learn in preseason game number 2, which, I don't know, is preseason game number 2 – it's not like old preseason game number 3, right? We're not going to see starters like you used to the one before the last preseason game?
No, but it's interesting. Last year, technically, the Eagles only played one starter on either side of the football, and that was Mekhi Becton. Now, but I would put an asterisk on it because if you recall, Nolan Smith was a rotational player and didn't start early in the season. Nolan Smith started. Bryce Huff started. Now, again, you have to have context. Mike, Zach Bond had not won a starting inside backer job, so he did start week 2 last year at New England. So that's when guys will start where you go, well, is he a starter, not a starter? This year, and this is typical around the National Football League, if you have a joint practice, or 2 in this case, it's extremely rare that a starter would play. They take the joint practices as real work because, Mike, it's very intense. I know they're not getting tackled, but it's very intense work, particularly the Wednesday practice, which was an hour and 45. Yesterday's was at about an hour and 5.
All right, well, let's look at some expectations, Adam, and guys that we're going to be looking at. Mostly backups there, but there are some backups that are in interesting spots here, and one of them is that number 3 quarterback position because I don't know, are we not even going to see Tanner McKee tomorrow?
Yeah, Mike, I've been thinking about this. McKee was, I don't know if you were still here last week for their first preseason game.
Missed it.
Tanner McKee was unbelievable. It's incredible. What do you need to know? Like that, the reason why coaches have told me over the years that we play players who are key backups or low end, whatever the case may be, is because they want to learn something. Do we need to learn anything, Mike, about Tanner McKee anymore? No, he's great. He's best, maybe the best backup.
No, you can, and if you're one of these teams that like the Eagles do, they like to get value in a trade. You might not think his value might be any higher than right now.
Exactly. In fact, look, they're not trading now, but when we get to March of 26, and it'll be McKee's last year of his rookie deal. Boy, times fly here. That's when you want to bank that tape. This preseason game, the first game against Cincinnati, was ridiculous. Last year's tape was good. Last year's preseason was good, and honestly, Mike, he really put himself on the map that first preseason game of his career against Baltimore 2 years ago, where he had a very average to below average training camp, but man, those games put him on the roster. So that's what these are for. Now DTR, Donovan Thompson-Robinson, a former Brown, and Kyle McCord, They're both going to play extensively. DTR is a little bit ahead of Kyle McCord. Had a good. He did well in OTAs, but once things got up here, it has not been as good for him.
All right, so that's the battle for the third quarterback job. That'll be something to watch tomorrow. Also, at wide receiver, the depth there. I mean, obviously, A.J. Brown has been out of practice with his hamstring. I guess it's not getting serious yet, but if there were to be serious, you got to have some more depth at wide receiver after the first two, and then, obviously, Jahan Dotson, what's left?
Yeah, Jahan Dotson is their three. That's already decided. The number 4 and 5 spots are between Darius Cooper, Terrace Marshall, and Ness Smith and Johnny Wilson. Johnny Wilson, the last 2 weeks, has really taken his game to another level where he struggled the first training camp. He's doing really well. We expect him to be on the team. Darius Cooper, if you listen to today's show, Andrew DeCecco and I did today's show. It was great, one of our favorite shows we've done. I gave you the 411 on Darius Cooper. We actually had very good intel on Darius Cooper from multiple sources. Great stuff on him. I'm putting him on the roster. I declared him on the roster, as I did 2 years ago with Reed Blankenship in the first week of August. I'm like, this guy's making it. I'm putting Darius Cooper on the roster. Terrace Marshall, Mike, now he's back to be A.J. Brown's backup, but Johnny Wilson's coming in there as well, and then Anaya Smith is a slot receiver. I would say this, Mike, about these backup receivers. It's been a little bit better than I anticipated in training camp. I was not expecting these guys to show up one way or the other. Terrace Marshall, like the darling of OTAs, and Cooper's been the biggest surprise in training camp of either side of the football. And Johnny Wilson, again, it's special teams, it's blocking the run game, and finally, Mike, applying his size to the football field.
All right, Adam Caplan's with us for Football at 4. There's a look at the receivers. Hey, they brought in all these tight ends in the possibility that obviously Dallas Goedert was not back. He is now back. So what about these guys now?
Yeah, Mike, that's exactly why they did it. They were anticipating trading Goddard. They didn't. They have 7 total tight ends on the roster. There's only one under contract for next year. That's Cameron Latu, who's almost certain not to make the team. But Calcaterra is the 2. Now, the question is, Jeff and I have been debating this all week. Do they keep 3? Well, here's what happens. If they only keep 2, you're going to see 2 on the practice squad. And Kylan Granson, Mike, he just offers something different. He's not an inline tight end. Harrison Bryant could do the inline stuff. E.J. Jenkins could play inline tight end. He also plays on special teams. Granson's a move tight end. He's what we call an F tight end. He doesn't really play in line, so he offers something different. So this is a big game for them. This is a big game specifically for Bryant, Granson, and Jenkins for someone to push. They're not going to keep 4 tight ends. At the most, they'll keep 3.
All right, Adam Caplan, let's look at the offensive line because obviously you did have a right guard position at the start. That looks like it's out of the mix now. It looks like that has been won. But this Landon Dickerson injury has added some intrigue if in the event that he missed a game, 2, maybe more, although he was handing beers out at practice, so it seems like he might be okay. What does the offensive line look like for this week?
Yeah, it was just good. He had his surgery Wednesday. Anything showing up has no bearing on anything. It's kind of funny he's hanging a beer. Now, look, Brett Toth is the backup. He if the season started today, he would be in there. Brett Toth, and Jeff pointed this out to me, I cannot believe he's been on and off Eagles roster for 7 years, Mike. It's just 7. 2019. So it's really not years, but seasons.
Seasons, right, yeah.
Right. Kenyon Green, we don't know when he'll be ready with a shoulder injury. They're not very deep now at guard, so this is a concern. The question was, now, first of all, we got to think that Brett Toth should play tomorrow. He needs work. I mentioned Becton, who was a starter last year. Now, the reason why not to play him is because if he's got to play week 1 and Toth gets hurt tomorrow, you got a major problem. Because then you're down to Darian Kennard, who's not a natural left side player. He just got cross-trained for the first time at left guard. Kenyon Green out, so they're running out of options here, Mike. We thought the depth at guard was pretty good, and Drew Kennel's only a center. So it's not, and Trevor Keegan clearly not ready. He's a third-string left guard and a third-string center right now.
All right, let's look at the defense, where there was a ton of stories before camp. How many of those stories have cleared up? Let's start at defensive tackle, where they lost Milton Williams. Looks like Ojomo has kind of settled everybody's mind there. What about everybody else?
Yeah, Mike, right now, you want to see about Ty Robinson. He's had an up-and-down training camp. It's a technique, and he's got to learn the techniques here. Very explosive. Byron Young just came back from his groin injury. With the Booker trade, Mike, And Gabe Hall, thankfully, he got hurt last Sunday night at the joint practice. It was a shoulder injury. He's fine. I mean, he's not doing everything, but I'm penciling him on the roster for the fall. I haven't put him in pen yet, like I've done with Darius Cooper, but he's had a very good training camp. So, yeah, it's big for those guys. Sykes, so they sign off the street. Jacob Rogers, they just signed this week, and Joe Evans, who are long shots to make it. Boy, their depth at D tackle, Mike, is not very good. That Booker trade, had they had Booker, I'd feel much better about it, but they got to learn a lot more about Byron Young and Ty Robinson.
Yeah, Thomas Booker was traded. He was in the Ja'Cory and Bennett deal last week with the Raiders, so he is out, and some young guys in there. You got older guys on the edge, Josh Uche, Azeez Ojulari, and then a young guy in Antoine Powell-Ryland. But, edge was a spot with Jalix Hunt that everyone was excited about. How do we feel entering preseason game number 2?
Mike, they have a lot of players. Depth, as we said for 8 years, is not about how many players you have. It's about the quality of the player. And Nolan Smith coming back from his surgery, he looks fine. He looks healthy. Jed Hunt is not a proven pass rusher. We're not really sure how good of a pass rusher he is. We like the development as a base defender in the run game. He's getting better as a pass rusher. He's not proven yet. We're not totally sure if he'll be a 3-down player yet. I wouldn't run with that yet. We need to see more. They have 3 weeks to learn this. Josh Uche is clearly their number 3 edge rusher. It wasn't like that to start camp. The first week, we always say, read very little into the first week. Azeez Ojulari was the 3rd edge rusher they only had 3 practices the first week, Mike. Then it changed the second week. He's the 4th guy. You mentioned Powell-Ryland is a very quiet training camp. Patrick Johnson, by the way, is over Powell-Ryland right now. Not that Powell-Ryland won't make the team. I'm just saying in the rotation. And Obo Okonkwo, who came over from Cleveland, it's just a funny week, Mike. So many ex-Eagles from the front office and players, roster, are now with Cleveland and vice versa. But Obo Okonkwo is there, who's on the 3rd team. So this is big for those guys, Mike. We know they're going to keep 4. And Jahad Campbell, by the way, seeing a little bit of him as an edge rusher, not a lot. And he's healthy, so look, it's going to be interesting. There are a lot of roles up for grabs as edge rushers right now.
No doubt, that's something to keep an eye on for tomorrow's game against Cleveland. And then you got the linebacking spot. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. heard a lot of good things there. Campbell, what's the? You think we see Campbell at all tomorrow?
Well, he's over the surgery, Mike. He looks good. It's to the point now, like, there's really, to me, no reason why they wouldn't play him because he's healthy. It's a situation where you go, you know what? They got to learn a little bit more about him. He's still learning the defense. I think we kind of know that. So, to me, at this point, Mike, wouldn't you not play him? And Smile Mondin, I was able to see him yesterday. He is a tall guy. He's just not thick. Now, last week, Mike, Smile Mondin and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. were the starters. So, we should note that. But Campbell, Mike, is a guy who's so intriguing. He flashes in training camp. He's got rare size for an inside backer. You typically don't see guys built like that. And I'm looking forward to this. And by the way, Campbell played last week, 15 snaps on defense, and 3 on special teams.
All right, we'll close out with the secondary. You got a lot of corner news here.
Oh, boy.
And then, of course, the safety spot.
Mike, this corner thing is a quagmire. I honestly, it's even been worse than I anticipated. We generally have a pretty good beat of where things are going. And not that I thought Ringo or Jackson would really seize the job, and Ja'Cory and Bennett's been up and down so far. It's been tough for him because this defense is different than the one that he played in with the Raiders. And Mac McWilliams, and this is not a shot at Mac McWilliams, that's a compliment, but when Mac McWilliams is getting first-team reps on the outside, not a lot, that tells you that it's completely opposite Quinyon Mitchell. That's not good, Mike. They already made one trade. I'm not ruling out another one at the end of August here.
Wow.
If this thing doesn't look good. You know why, Mike? Because Harry Roseman, this is what someone who used to work for him told me, the guy's fearless. He doesn't care. If it doesn't look right, he's got such a good feel for it. And and he pointed this out after the draft in one of the post-draft press conferences, we've got 13 picks next year. You're not going to use all 13. That'll never happen. So I'm not rolling anything out here. This is we got to give Ja'Cory and Bennett more time though. That's
yeah. It's funny, Bennett was traded right before I left there, and I talked to people that they liked him a lot. He just didn't fit in with Pete Carroll, not the bigger physical guy. A lot of people thought he was their best corner. I mean, not saying a lot with the Raiders, but still. So a little intrigued to see if he kind of grows into this system as he learns it more. He'll be a guy we'll definitely keep an eye on, that whole corner. Ringo, Jackson, Bennett, Mac McWilliams. Keep an eye on them tomorrow right here on 97.3 ESPN. Eagles-Browns preseason game number 2 on your home for Eagles football, 97.3 ESPN. All right, Adam Caplan, we'll talk to you next week, pal.
Sounds good.